everyone, Christina Watts, and welcome to my studio. I thought it'd be fun for you families out there with kids to enjoy some free tutorials. So let's head on over to my art desk because in today's session, we're going to show you Japanese notans. Okay, we need to round up a few things. I need to pilfer some glue because I ran out. So I'm going to sneak this glue stick over to my art table. On top of the glue, and don't worry about Hammy, he'll be fine. You need a pair of scissors, your glue stick, or even any glue will do. A pencil that has an eraser. You can see this, and it looks like a funny pencil, but it has an eraser on it. And if you are older or if you have a parent to help, you can use an X-Acto knife and a black pen. You're also going to need some paper. Now I have just a big piece of 12 by 12 white paper and a 6 by 6 brown paper. We'll talk more about other papers in just a second, but this is a Japanese notan, and I'm going to show you how to do that. This is also a Japanese notan, so it's really kind of the contrasts that get flipped around, and it's how you cut your shapes out and just stick them in another side. So you'll see that I didn't have a big sheet of paper, so what I did is I taped two smaller sheets of paper together and then had a little rectangle one. And if you really want to boost it up a bit, you can put some paint on stuff. So this one is, I love trees, so this one here was some vellum paper with some alcohol inks, and then I used black paper and just cut it up, and again I had to put it on a white edge just for some just so it stuck nicely down the paper, and I sealed it in with like a GAC 500. But it's pretty basic what we're going to do today, so let's get to it. So I've taken my little 6" by 6" paper, and you don't really need it the same kind of size. I mean, you just want one big piece of paper and one smaller piece of paper, and any shape will do. And now I'm just going to carve out some images on the side. Now I know that it's fall, and so my shapes that I'm going to kind of draw out here and then cut are inspired by fall, and of course by this piece of paper that has kind of some fall leaves on it. And yeah, just make them pretty simple. So on the one side I did a leaf, and on this edge I am doing kind of a branch with some leaves. And I made a mistake here, and you know what, mistakes are fine. We have an eraser, and I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes throughout this, and so will you, and I'm going to show you how to fix them. So I'm really looking for maybe, I like this big leaf here, so let's put a big leaf up in that side. And you see, I'm kind of thinking about something might need to go here, because I like something cut from each side of my square, but I'm not too sure. So I'm going to think about this and cut it out and see how I feel about it in a little bit. So you can see my pencil lines there. Alright, so got my scissors. Now be very careful to you want to cut the shape out all together with your scissors. And don't worry if you didn't do this perfectly and you've got pencil lines, because you can just erase them later. So there is one leaf, and here's my nice big leaf. Now I do like having them different sizes, so make sure you have some big sizes coming in from the sides and some little sizes of leaves coming in from the side, and maybe even some different, like that branch and the leaves over there. Now this branch was tricky, and I did use some of my X-Acto knife for it. One thing, I really like not cutting from one edge all the way through the other edge. Oh, made a mistake with that. I ripped my paper, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to cut it out and move on. So I've decided that this branch is just going to have to come out first altogether. I won't be able to keep this whole section together because it's too tricky. So I'm going to cut the branch out first, and then I'm going to cut the leaf shapes out after that. This is pretty basic shapes, so I should be okay when it comes to flipping it. And while I'm cutting this out, let's talk some more a bit about different papers. So you can use magazine papers, you can use papers with text, you could even use your cereal boxes. Use the inside of a cereal box and the outside of your cereal box. It's pretty fun, you can do all kinds of different things. And then for glue, you can use white glue, you can use glue sticks. I've used paint. Did you know that in acrylic paint, there's like a glue part of it? So you could even paint the back sides, although that does get pretty messy, and I would suggest just using white. So clear glue is best, but you can substitute with other things if you need to. Okay, so I'm just going to clean up where my pencil lines were by erasing. And you can see where I scratched my paper down there, but I just cut it off into a bigger shape. And yeah, I do feel that I need another shape on this side to be cut out. So I'm putting a little leaf right in over here. And just chop this guy out too. Random leaves. They're pretty. I love it in the fall, seeing all the different colors of leaves. Okay, that kind of seems good to me. I'm happy with those shapes. And I'm going to pull back so you can kind of see it out, because what we're going to do is I want to keep the shapes where they are, where I kind of cut them out, because we're going to transfer them to our bigger piece of paper now. And then we're going to glue them down here. And it really makes for this really neat composition. Now some people like to put their inside squares right in the center, but I say make sure it all just fits on the bigger sheet of paper. So I'm moving mine around. And you just want to make sure that it just kind of syncs up the way you sort of see it there before. Everything's going to get connected in a second. And it's really kind of the opposite, right? So it's the opposite of the shape that you kind of cut out. There, right there is good. Okay. So now that I've kind of got a pretty good idea where these are going to get placed, then what I'm going to do is give myself some guides. And let's see here, not the glue first, I need the guides first. So see, I'm grabbing my pencil and I'm going to mark my corners. So I just draw little lines here and on that side, and this is going to help me when I go to glue it down to get it in that spot that it needs to be, so that all my pieces will fit onto the paper. So go ahead and glue it down. And if you have a piece of, or if you have Kleenex or toilet paper, go and grab that right now, because you're going to need that because sticky fingers, and you probably don't want to get little globs of glue on the other side of your sheet. So get your glue on there and get your Kleenex stuff ready. And once you have your sheet completely glued, and mine's a little off camera because I'm trying to get it on there. Once you have it glued, you're going to line it back up with those pencil lines and stick it on down. There we go. All right, so get into all those cracks and crevices. And here is how I just use my Kleenex. Now, this is so that you don't kind of smudge glue as badly onto your paper, because it does have like a gloss to it when it does dry. That being said, if you make that mistake, it's easy to fix. You can just put a little clear varnish over it that's glossy for the whole thing, and it will all be shiny and no one will know the difference. And this Notans are so good for many shapes. You can just make totally shapes that don't look like anything at all, just a random shape. And try cutting out from your edge. You'll see that actually where I've cut mine out of the edges, it's not like halfway through the side, it's kind of up or to the side. I mean, just really do what you feel fits, what looks good for you. And of course, you know, if you don't like it, there's always more paper. There will be times that you will just, you know, want to do it again and do it again and do it again until you get it right. And it's just a fun and soothing thing to be doing, especially on a rainy day or when it's cold out. These also make really awesome gifts if you're going to do them in even smaller sizes and give like cards away for people. It's just a fun. This is a great big piece, so you know, I would consider framing it on my wall, But yeah, you can do them in smaller forms and make all kinds of cute projects out of them. Bookmarks are fun, and magnets for your fridge. And yeah, it's just a really cool composite. I love Japanese notans. Okay, so this is how they would have left it if it was a traditional Japanese notan, which it still isn't because this would have been black and white paper, and I've used like a brown paper. But I'm gonna add some kind of scribble drawings in here. I like doodles. I'm kind of a doodle fan, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take my black pen and go ahead and just sort of fill more of these leaves in. And I start with my veins first of my leaves, and then I work kind of some scribbles into them, and you'll see they're totally just scribbles. But you don't have to do this, so if you like this, then continue on making these marks. But if you liked it plain and minimalist with the just the white peeking through, then just leave it as is. So here's where I'm going to come in and do more sort of, this is that branch, so my lines will be long with the branch. And then you'll see me in a second here. I'll back off my pen and work on some scribbles. So these are nothing more than weird little jiggly lines. I have no rhyme or reason to them. I'm going to follow the veins that I put on here because that's kind of fun. And just scribble away. I think it'd be really cool to use like text paper with white paper and then flip out words. I'm sure they would think of things like, wonder what that artist was thinking when they formed this piece of art. And honestly, in our heads, we're like, I like it, looks pretty. Okay, just adding a few kind of lines that go with the form of the leaf, and then you're just going to kind of enrich around it. So you can continue watching this and seeing all of the marks that I make, or you can even fast forward a little bit. And yeah, it's pretty fun, and the end is a really great result. Oh, I should mention too that even while you're scribbling over here, you're gonna want to go into places and add kind of more of those lines just to sort of get some sort of thicker variation of lines in here. So see how I went back right there over the veins? That's because I lost them when I did a lot of scribbling, and I thought, you know what, I want those veins to kind of pop more, so I'm going over them again just so that they show. And then I like the idea of having a jagged leaf edge, and I'm going to achieve that by sort of using my pen in here, and then also put some dots. So dots is called stippling in art, and that's a really sort of powerful way you can spend a lot of time just doing dot art. Dot, 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 dot. Alright, this is so much fun, and we're almost done. And I want to point out that on the corners of my papers, you see I put some black lines in there. I kind of snuck them on when you weren't looking. Japanese notans. They're fun, and you can film with all kinds of shapes. So I know you guys out there did a great job, and I want you to give yourself a high five, and we'll see you the next session. Have a great day.